Seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, and I'm excited. You know why? Because it's Tuesday, and it's the weekend before Halloween, and Rachel Roberts' Recipe is here from Houston, Texas. She looks like Judy Garland. Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
You got it.
Kind of like Chucky, too, if you really look at it. She's got her knife. And then we got actor. We got that fashion model, that great dancer from Nashville, Tennessee, the one and only Howard Wiggins. And obviously, we're live on Talk 4 Media, K4HD, TV, radio, and podcasting, and over 100 outlets around the world. And I'm missing two of my other co-hosts because Tasha has got internet problems out of Miami, Florida. Terry's got some things going on, and we may have a couple of other surprise guests, but without further ado, I like this guy. I've been following him for a long time. Not only do I like his segment when he does it, for Health Check, because where are we now? It's all about health. It's all about wellness. And that other thing, being that CEO of Balance 7, you can't get any better than that, because I think that's one of the best waters there that we have, and we always need that. A lot of my friends in fitness doing it. I've been using it for years myself. So when it comes to these things like that, gotta say this: it's about that foundation. That foundation of the Noor Foundation is very, very important. The one and only Dr. Nooristani. So I'm glad that you're here. Everybody's been having health issues. What's going on?
Well, first of all, Brian, thank you for having me. It's amazing to be in these amazing people. I already love you guys all. But health is important. Obviously, our well-being is the most important thing a human being could have. Without that, we have nothing. There's no wealth in the world could save you from getting sick unless you take care of yourself. So I've been practicing medicine for past 16 years. I have done internal medicine, and now I do critical care. So I see the sickest of the sickest. And in the last 2 years, I think this has been the worst 2 years of my life as far as practicing medicine, because I lost more people in 2 years than 16 years combined in the hospital. So there's just been a heartbreak and after heartbreak. So it's been tough 2 years, but we have saved hundreds of lives. And in that process, we have learned ways to motivate people, to educate people, to have better health and how to take care of themselves in a way that wasn't available before. And that's part of it, is incorporating medicine with alternative medicine, because I think as a physician, we have been putting the blinkers on and moving with whatever FDA says. That's what we're going to do. And so it's just about time to combine the two sources and get the best of both worlds to our patient. So I'm glad you mentioned something about Balance 7. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But so thank you for having me.
I've got to start here. Because just the charity is very, very important. We always like to promote charities. Talk about the charity, because it's very, very important.
So I've been involved in different charities internationally and also locally. One of the things that, once again, because I'm a physician, I know what I know, right? It's about healthcare. When I started, my first charity was a non-for-profit for people who have no insurance. It's free of care. I mean, it's hard to believe that you're going to go somewhere and they give you free healthcare. Zero charge for anybody. There's no obstacle. You walk in. That's all you need, just to walk in. And over the last 10 years, we did over $45 million for the free care. We have saved thousands of lives. And we're not talking about somewhere in Africa, which I have done. We're talking about here in California. When I started, 30% of population didn't have insurance. That's a staggering number. 1 out of 3 people didn't have anywhere to go. And guess what? The number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States is healthcare. I mean, God forbid you guys have gotten sick. You go to the hospital. Those bills are just astronomical. So these people have nowhere to go, and so I created that non-for-profit. Just deals with the health. We have health, vision, dental, free medication. I mean, A to Z is covered, all the subspecialties. So it's been great, and we just opened another one down in Lompoc to serve Santa Barbara County. That's been open for a few months now, but my God, it's just been busy. I mean, we have seen hundreds and hundreds of people.
Tell people how to. Okay, so if they're watching out there, tell people where do they go?
So you can go to Slow Noor Foundation, SLO Noor, part of my name, NOOR Foundation.org, or Savvy Health, SAVIE Health.org. So you could donate and contribute from that, but and most importantly, let people know that we are here to serve.
Wow, that's huge. That's incredible.
All right, Rachel, tell them what you went through the last month as being
so in my house, let me tell you, when COVID started, I was one of those people that, freaked out. And for 6 months, I never left my house. I stayed inside. My truck battery died because I never drove it. I mean, anyway. So after that, I was taking baby steps. We all double masked, wore the gloves, everything got scrubbed down. Well, we didn't get sick. We never got COVID. We didn't get sick. But now this year, it's go to school, kids. Take off the mask. There's no COVID. Well, we haven't gotten COVID, but this RSV, upper respiratory bronchitis, is hitting my house. We're talking, this started September, and it's been going since September. We are it goes from me, or it started with Cooper, my little one. He brought it home from school, and then he gave it to me, and somehow my teenager upstairs, he got it, and it's then it's one person gets better, then the other person gets it again, and it's horrible. And the school systems are you got to get your kid back in school. I'm you don't want him there. He sounds horrible. He's gonna be coughing, and they're if he doesn't have fever, he needs to go back to school. All the kids at school are getting it. The teachers are getting it. It's
one of the things that people don't realize: prevention, right? So in the last 2 years, guess how many cases of influenza, RSV I had? 0. You know why? Because everybody was wearing masks during that time.
We're putting it back on. Yeah, I told my kid, he's nobody wears the mask at school. I'm you're wearing the mask at school. Put it back on. Put it back on.
I think as a government, we have done a shitty job, excuse my language, because I get really pissed off because we lose so much life. It's just you don't educate, you force people to do things without education, and that doesn't go well, not at least in this country. You cannot force people. So learn how to be honest, truthful, and educate people, so people could actually listen to you as CDC and all these other bodies that, that start telling you what to do. So if you're lying, people are not going to listen. If you're not upfront, people are not going to listen. So, educate people and let them make that decision. The outcome is so much better. And we're in that hospital right now, as you said, everybody don't have to wear masks anymore, etc. It's wait a minute, didn't you just learn something for the last 2 years? You had not a single case of any of these viruses during the season. All you have to do is say, hey, during this season, 3 months, 2 months, wear your mask and we're good.
Okay, well, so I've got all these friends that are you shouldn't have ever worn the mask, and you shouldn't have gotten the vaccine, and then you wouldn't be sick now. And part of me thinks maybe they're right. You know what I mean? Because they're all immune systems are so built up. They got COVID 3 times, and they're out there, and they're bring it on. And I'm well, I don't know. I mean, so what do you say?
This is what I say.
Or don't wear it and get sick and build your immune system up. What is it? What are we supposed to do?
This is what I say, first of all. I've been to 15 states, 88 cities. I've never had COVID because I'm constantly washing my hands and wiping down everything I do. I've always done that. The last time I was
Where's
really
your
sick,
little thing around your neck? You didn't
right
wear
here.
it. Oh my God. Where is it?
It's right here. I have my
Charging.
filter that I wear that
Oh,
purifies
he's
my
laughing.
air.
But you know what I'm telling you?
Every
That's
photo that
whatever
I'm
that
in,
thing is
you'll
putting
see
out.
me wearing it because I don't know where people have been, and I don't take those chances because we have a lot of stuff that we're doing cross country and outside the country next year. So if I get sick, it kind of screws it up for everybody else. So I don't take anything for granted. And I've never had any kids, never been married, but I'm around a lot of kids and around a lot of married people. So I'm like, okay, how many times have you had this? You got it 3 times? I have a feeling you're going to have long haulers, something respiratory or whatever the case may be. So I don't want to have any of that. So I always caution my friends and my co-hosts just to be careful. Do the basics, hand sanitizer. Just be careful what you're doing. When you're pumping gas, wash your hands
Oh, I
after you
do.
know?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
What
that's
about you,
that's
Howard? Have you got it yet?
I had it when it first came out, but honestly, I don't believe in the shot. I will never ever take
You
the
never
shot.
got it. You never got any of the
I
shots.
know I got it, but
Oh.
I panicked. It was no worse than the flu. I just, they said you're my age,
Well,
you're going to die. That's
That's
all.
for you,
But
though.
I've known
Nobody,
4 people.
right?
I've known 4 people who had all their vaccinations and they died already. So I don't trust any government, not ours or any government. I mean, just look at it. You watch TV and you see if you've taken this drug, call this lawyer. So how can you believe anybody? Really, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
here's
like I take care of,
what do you
also
say?
take care of mentally challenged adults, and 2 of them died in the lady's house on the same day. They do not see anybody. They never leave that house. The only people they see is staff and nurses. They had all their vaccines and they died. So you can't tell me that shot didn't do it, because I think it did.
well, let me so here's so kind of as a physician I take a look at it, and this is true story. So when COVID hit, I worked in one of the hospital in Lompoc, and one of the president next to the hospital people got hit. So I was one of the first really physicians in the country that saw massive amount of patient, and around us there's about 6 or 7 different nursing home, and they got hit hard. I mean, got to the point where we went through that thing. Hey, we don't have bed. You're 90 or above. I don't want to see you. Or we can't do nothing about you, because we didn't know enough about the disease process. So a lot of people died initially. And once again, the initial wave was just older people. I mean, I didn't see a young person, rarely saw anybody. So that was the initial wave of it. But I'll tell you, I mean, I know some people don't believe in vaccines, and they shouldn't. Now, it's not for everybody. I got it granted. Everybody has a choice. As soon as the vaccine hit on that population, you know what? I rarely saw anybody at that age from nursing homes to walk in again. So it was such a relief, because we were so taxed and so many people died. The second wave hit, and these are the younger people. Now, granted, not a healthy one individual had predisposing factors like diabetes, they're obese, they're hypertensive, not taking care of their health, not watching what they do, what they don't do. So you have to realize that no matter what virus is there, people are gonna get sick, people are gonna die. There's no question about it. Just human being, we are predisposed. We're not made of iron. So people are gonna die no matter what. So think about cancer. Millions of people a year die of cancer right here. Forget about, and think about the heart attacks. Number 1 cause of death in the country: heart attacks, strokes. I mean, so there's nothing to say like, hey, we are bulletproof and there are some solution for it. So you do practice the best for you individually. And that's what I said. It's an individual choice. You can't force people, and let them, and the only way you can do it, educate people. That's it. I have done about 10 to 15 seminar on vaccines alone. And, and I haven't answered a lot of questions. And one of the thing is, Howard, I agree with you. You don't have, if they don't tell you exactly what it is, how it's developed, give you the backward information. I mean, I don't trust a lot of some of the stuff comes in, because it changes like that. Today I have to use this to treat this. Tomorrow I have to, like, wait a minute, you just told me to do this. Now you're just turning completely this way. I mean, so it's hard to gain trust of people when it comes to that. So that's why I blame some of this in CDC and not doing enough to educate all of us and be upfront and be honest, saying, hey, People are going to die. This is pandemic. We're doing everything we can in order to save lives, and these are the steps we are taking, and this is how we do it. I mean, how many people knew how they developed the vaccine? Not a lot of people. I mean, even as a physician, we weren't privy or privileged to that. So later on, all the data came out and we found out how they make it. So to us, it was easier to digest it and saying, okay, to my patient, I could actually give you an educated answer to what and how the vaccines were created and what to pay attention to. Are you at risk of getting some side effect of vaccine, and what are your risk factor and percentage? So, but as I said, once again, it's unfortunate to have that, you know, the conversations with people without having enough knowledge and saying, hey, take this because I think it's gonna work. Well, you thought wrong, right? So, but
You
you
know,
know, I'm glad right now we have so many variants, and that's another thing. You know, the vaccine does not 100%. Even if you take the boosters and they came up the fourth booster, because the virus changes so much. Yes, it
It
covers
adapts,
90%.
right?
But the good news is it's adopted. But the good news is we don't have the harder strain that we had at the beginning that killed people. So the new strain, because of so many mutation, it lost it is as you might could say, that it's just not doing as bad of damage as they did before. In the last 6 months, 8 months, I rarely have anybody that walks. I mean, I have a lot of people who have COVID, but none of them are sick from COVID. They come from heart attack. Now they have, we test them as positive. So it is amazing to see that the shift has happened. And a lot of people ask me about vaccine, the booster number 4 and the booster number 5. So I say, like, you know what? If it gives you peace of mind, sure. If not, then that's fine too.
What are you doing? That's what I want to
how
know.
come?
What have you done all the boosters? Are you doing the mask? What do you do, doctor?
Well, so I mean, obviously for me it was different because I'm critical care. I'm an invented patient, and that's all I deal with, right? So I have to protect myself, and I did everything. I did mask. I wear those little astronaut
You
things
got the
for the first
latest
one.
booster then?
I
The
just got
last
the fourth one. Yes, I got the last one. And then, as I said, part of it is that, for me, it's different because I get the sickest of the sickest. So whatever protection for me personally, I need to have that just so I could protect myself and all the physicians. Some of them are forced. You have to get it if you want to work at the hospital. So I get that. But some of them are, also gives me the peace of mind for me personally, because I believe in vaccines, but not just any vaccine. I believe in the science behind it. So I dig down on the science of it. And to me personally, that was the right choice for me. Now, the fifth or the sixth one, I'm iffy if I want to get another one because I don't have enough data to say it's going to take care of the next mutation. So it's just going to be like a flu. I get it every year, but is it a chance I'm going to get flu? Absolutely, because the virus mutate and the vaccines are a year behind. So the same thing now with COVID. The new strain is different. It might not do me any good, but it provides some protection for the older ones, and you're not gonna get as sick. Now, people get sick, but not as sick as hospitalization. So it's about 90 to 95% effective. That means 10% of the population will get sick. Despite that, 10% of the population will die from it, but it's not 100%.
And what
But the
about
death,
your wife and your kids? What about do you have a missus and children at home?
yes.
Do they get
I got you guys could see it here. Oops, there we go. The Missy, the
oh
princess, and the queen.
uh-huh.
So yes, they got their shots. My little one is 4 years old, and then I think it was just approved for 5 and above, so she's not in that category. As I said, because I'm at such a high risk of bringing it home. So I got my father-in-law lived with me, and mother-in-law. I got them, and because, just as I said, I am the carrier of the virus. I'm in and out every day. I get exposed, so I just want to protect them a little bit.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
What,
Sorry I'm
what I
late.
like to ask is,
Go ahead, Howard. Go ahead.
what I like to ask is, how come insurance does not pay for preventative medicines or things like that? Because I'm almost 70, going on 70, and I haven't been sick in my life but one time that I can remember. And but I take care of myself. But everything I watch, they're treating the symptoms. They don't. And if you, like you said, most people die of cancer or heart attack. You go to the doctor, they'll test for everything but those things and save that to the end, and then they'll test for it. I'm sorry, at my age, test my heart, test me for cancer, very first thing. Because more likely, that's what kills everybody. So I don't care if I've got diabetes or anything like that. Right up front, I want to know if I'm not going to die or not. And then they make it so hard to see your doctor. Even you got to have a referral from here. You got to go there. If you, it's nothing's easy, and especially as you get older.
As a nation, we're not a proactive nation. We are a reactive nation. Okay, we have the best doctors in the world. After something happened to you, I want to let you break your legs, and then I'm gonna give you the best orthopedic in the planet to fix it, as opposed to here's a walker so you don't have to fall, so I don't have to do that. So as a nation, we rank 50 or 51 in the world when it comes to preventive services. Yet we spend 4 times more than any country in the world. So the bottom line comes to one thing. There's a bunch of thieves making decisions about your health. Everybody wants a piece of pie. Everybody wants to squeeze. So it is really hard to get what you need. I agree with you 100%. Give me prevention, because, I did a lot of studies with analysis. It takes me about $20 a month to save you from having a stroke or heart attack. Once you have a heart attack, that's $400,000 within the first year alone. So we don't care about that because insurance companies are making millions of dollars. They want you to get sick. Why the hell they do prevention?
Hi. Also, I work with a lot of people that are from Africa, and most of them, their grandparents are like 113, 120. They're very, very old. They don't even have health care, but they work hard. They eat organic. They got a nice family life unit. And they're living longer than anybody else in the whole world. They don't even have health care.
I totally agree with Howard. Hi guys, I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm Terry Marie from Redondo Beach. I've been with Brian for over 7 years. So nice to meet you, doctor. Actually, I've been in healthcare for 25 years. I'm on the software side of things. I worked in medical lab. Let me see, what else have I done? I worked in the workers comp area. So again, I've sold dental equipment. Now I'm in orthopedics. But yeah, I have an unpopular opinion about a lot of stuff in medicine, and I guess this is my place. I could say it, Brian. So, I've never worked in pharmaceutical, but the pharmaceutical industry to me is I think there's a lot of corruption in it. And I think that there are a lot of the drugs that they prescribe people make things worse. My mom has heart issues right now, and some of the medications are out there make things worse. And I really think that we do as a society need to look more for preventative care. Like even when COVID was going on, like people weren't taking their vitamins. They're all concerned about the vaccine. Now people are having reactions from the vaccine. I, for example, chose not to take the COVID vaccine because I had a horrible anaphylactic reaction to the flu vaccine. So I'm not anti-vax, but I don't think that, unpopular opinion, that vaccine works for everybody. Not everybody needs to take it. And it's all about money. And the same thing with drugs. So there needs to be a balance. But how many times has Pfizer been sued? Or how many drugs have been pulled off the market? And when COVID came out, and I'm just going to say this, everybody all of a sudden believed in this vaccine after everybody with the opiate addiction happened, where all those people got on opiates. Like, why all of a sudden you guys trust these guys after millions of people died from opiates? So that's my unpopular opinion. But I mean, I really think we need to go into our eating habits, our exercise, preventative, because that preventative care is going to help you in the long run. So there's my little rant.
Your answer is fear. Fear, right? Mm-hmm. Fear of dying, fear of being home. Everybody's going to die. So everybody plays into fear, no matter where you are. Howard, I did a lot of project in Africa. So, one of the first thing I realized, obviously, the lack of healthcare system. They just don't have the facilities. They don't have doctors. When I came back to the United States, it just hit me. I said, wait a minute. We have everything, but you can't access it. 1 out of 3 people at that time. Right now, with Obamacare and all that going on, which drives me nuts. We still have 15% of population don't have insurance. Affordable Care Act is not affordable. Who says it's affordable? Raise your hand, because it's not. What is your copayment? Anybody who have insurance will know what their copayment is. $10,000-$15,000. Is that crazy or what? Right? You're paying $2,000 a month for insurance, and still on top of it, you have to pay another $10,000-$15,000 copayment. Are you out of your mind? I mean, somebody got to talk to these people, right? Equality is not there, and so as I said, as a government, we preach that everybody's equal. But let me give you a good example on healthcare. What kind of plans are there? There's the silver, there's the gold, and there's the platinum, and whatever. So you're already preaching and forcing people to take a class. You have money, you're gonna get platinum. You don't have money, you're gonna get the bottom one. And then they sell it for you, saying, wait a minute, you have a choice. It's your choice to pick the crappy one because you think you're not gonna get sick. Really? So you're reinforcing that ideology of class. You got money, you better get treated, and you can do whatever you want when you're getting your platinum card. So even from the government standpoint, all the way down, there's corruption, there's politics in your health, which should be separated. Your health is a right. Have you been to Europe when everybody complain about it? You go to your doctor, you just give your card. That's it, you're done.
The thing again, I work in medical, I work in software, so I work in medical billing. So I really understand this whole concept. I have doctors that would not take Obamacare. They're like, I'm not taking that. I don't get paid. I don't get paid enough money. Like, why should I take it? So people don't realize they think Obamacare was a good thing. It was actually horrible, because you have a lot of physicians that are like, I'm not taking it. And now more and more people, more and more doctors are like, I'm not taking Medicare. I'm not taking Medi-Cal. I don't make any money. So, I mean, doctors, I want my doctor to get paid well, because I mean, like if I'm in the hospital, I have to have surgery, that person's cutting me open. But again, we need to do something about the situation where the doctors are getting paid right. The patients are getting right care. It's a big mess. It really is. And people don't realize it.
I was talking to the senator last week. He came into the opening for the clinic, and I said, give me 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, just give me 15 minutes. I'm going to save you billions and billions dollar in healthcare. And I'm not going to change anybody's plan or policy. It just remove all this nonsense that is in existence. So you're absolutely right. Nowadays, physician, as you see, the private practice is gone. There's no longer primary care. They're all bought up by these hospital chains, this big giant corporation, because you know why they buy you? Because they bill you so much higher, because they're part of the hospital. So as a physician independently, you cannot practice even if you want to, because the overhead has gone up. And a lot of my friends who are neurologists, and they are amazing, smart individual, they couldn't practice anymore. They had to join a hospital because they just couldn't pay their bills, even that. So the system has shifted once again. The bigger guys eating the small guys. So that's what it is, just bureaucracy all over.
Yeah, and then Rachel, you're in Texas, and there's a big thing happening with the orthopedic market in Texas where they're all getting picked up. I'm not going to say which company it is, but they're all getting eaten up. All the small ortho groups are all under this one umbrella right now. And it's not, I don't really think it's a good thing, because then again, you said, you doctors can't practice medicine like they used to, because it's a big corporation now. So do you think I think you agree with me, we're not going in the right direction.
Rachel, let me ask you guys a question. How you guys stayed healthy during this COVID? You didn't get COVID, and you lasted so long.
Well,
what was the key?
The masks, washing our hands, and that did it.
So this is what I was talking about.
Yeah,
this is what I was talking about. It's still about prison, which is what the doctors always talk about. It's still the basics of washing your hands, doing whatever. Going to the pump. When you got kids, you got to wipe everything down. That's the reason
I tell you,
I've gotten it. And I've been around so many people in different states, blue states and red states. And again, I'm a black guy. I don't have to get sick. I believe in the Asian thing. Remember in the 1980s, the Asians were never getting sick. It was their diet. Terry, from the fitness. They ate well. When McDonald's went to Asia, all of a sudden they started gaining weight. The Africans never had fatty foods because they always wait,
You know what though? What is driving me crazy is like, at some point though, we have to shift into like we have to acclimate ourselves back into not wearing the mask.
Let me answer that question first, and then you go to you.
Okay.
Go ahead, doctor. You're on mute.
Okay,
You're on
I'm
mute.
unmute myself. Okay, so you're absolutely right. You know if you look at the world population, the healthiest people around the world are called a blue zone somewhere there, and their diet is purely vegetables and fruits and not fatty and refined sugars. And they do eat meat, but not just the refined sugar. So diet has an extremely important effect in your overall being. And they live longer. They have less diabetes, cancer, hypertension, heart disease, any disease you could think of, they have less of, and they live longer. They live the longest in the world. So if you look back, why we are one of the unhealthiest nation in the world. And now I'll tell you, in Africa, you guys talked Africa, that shift is happening already, and I'll tell you why it's happening. The people are getting sicker, and diabetes, hypertension has skyrocketed. It's what we are fed, processed food.
Yep.
Junks that we have putting all these canned food with tons of sugars, and we just name it differently. Go ahead in the supermarket. I guarantee you're not going to find a can of food without sugar. I mean, even tomato juice has sugar. Different form of it. They name it, they rebrand it. It just, and also processed preservative. So the freshness is out. With sodas, pops, and tons of Coke and Pepsi and supersize everything. So all that adds to your unhealthy choices that we make. And then they're not giving us a lot of options. Look at the poor inner cities area. They don't have accessibility to fresh fruits and food, so they could have to become healthy. So how could you expect them to be healthy and not providing with what they need? So I think that's why I said it's so important for you guys. Howard, you are feeling healthy. You look like you're 50, so I'm pretty sure you're doing whatever you're doing is keep it up, because health and wellness come in personal. You have to take charge. What I tell people, hey, listen, how you want to be healthy? Prevention, and that's simple things. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, because that's alkaline diet. I'm not against eating meat. Don't eat meat every day, because you're going to eat the pizza and the Coke and the Pepsi and the sugars. If you avoid all that, meat is just fine. People lived on meat for thousands of years. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just you cannot mix everything else alongside with it and pretend to be healthy. So I think we could easily take a few steps to make that balance. And, as a physician, I didn't even know in the last 5 years that how pH is so important in your body, because once again I was trained drugs. So when you take a step back and say, hey, listen, how am I going to transform my body and my health and everybody else's, it become, you just have to educate yourself and figure out ways to incorporate everything else to your health. And that is one of the things I've been teaching. Make your body, bring it to your more of alkaline, where it was supposed to be years back before introduction of all this junk. So Brian, you said something about balance 7 and why it's so important that just that drink alone. It's one of the highest pH in the market. 11.2 is the most alkaline product out there. There's nothing come even close to you. It's 1,500 times stronger than your drinking water. Is 250 times stronger than any product there. So it does make a difference alongside your diet and your health, exercise, etc. So maintaining your immune system at the highest capacity at this time will not get you sick. I've been, once again, I did everything right. I've been in the thick of it, and I still have, knock on wood, that I still haven't had COVID during all these 3 years of me being part of it. And part of it, once again, being preventive, making sure you're healthy, making sure you eat right, exercise right, and keep your immune at optimal level. And that will come in with prevention. As you said, wash your hands. You know how important that is? That saves millions and millions of lives. Simple technique. Wash your hands, sanitizer, water, or whatever it is, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, especially when you have little ones. The more you wash, the less you're going to get sick. because they're just, they're germs. They should call them little germs.
Yeah, they're nasty.
I have
Wait, hold on, Terry. Wait, tell them who you are besides Drew Darling and Chucky. What's your food?
My whole thing is so I'm Rachel Roberts in Houston, Texas, and I'm a chef. But I my whole thing is eat clean so you can drink a little dirty. So eat clean is the part I want to talk about. I grow my own stuff, and where I get inspiration is in the morning. I go outside and I see what's growing, and I tell people, you got to grow stuff, you got to eat stuff. And it was interesting. So I wanted you to to know that. But what I thought was interesting is, my mom died in 2012 of cancer, but I remember back then all these people teaching us, that cancer can't grow in an alkaline system. Is that true? Yeah.
Yes, a lot of studies have been showing that is the case. As a matter of fact, about 2 months ago, so I've studied every literature on alkaline there is now around the globe. There's just an article came in from Amazon, and that's amazing. So the people who were drinking water, their pH of water was so acidic, it was about 3 to 4, and that was their drinking water because of all the pollution. Wow. And they had the highest rate of cancer that goes from esophagus all the way down to intestine. And they went ahead and did a simple prevention. They changed their water, just drinking water from that what they were drinking, to an alkaline about 8 or 9. The pH was 9. Just as I said, they did only one prevention. They just changed their drinking water. Guess what? The rate of cancer decreased significantly. Some of those people who were cancer with treatment, they did so much better. So it tells you that a lot of this, and the answer is yes, a lot of these cancers are related or with the acidic environment. They thrive in acidic environment. And then also some of the studies that show that migrates a lot better when they have the acidic environment around it. So you're absolutely right.
Interesting. I got one of those alkaline systems in my house, but I you know what? When I run the alkaline water, it doesn't look clear, so I don't do it. Now you're making me want to, I don't know.
Well, I want to see that what it is. I mean, as I said, I want to be very clear about alkaline water. Okay, there's a lot of companies who produce alkaline water. That's not. Just have to be careful. Like everything else, it is financially driven. Now, a lot of alkaline water. Just a little history for some of you guys, which is not that interesting, but alkaline water came about 15 years ago from Japan. They were just, created there, and they created this machine who actually electrolyze water. Now, all these machines that we have currently, it's based on that. You pay about $4,000 or $5,000, and you get this machine that produces alkaline water. But here's the problem with that. Okay. That is electrolyzed, means they separate the hydrogen and the hydroxide from it. So they push the alkaline one side and the hydrogen another side, and that's what you drink. But as soon as you pour it in your glass, leave it 5-6 minutes, guess what? The pH changes back to acidic or neutral, because the hydrogen from the atmosphere mixes into it, because that's not a true alkaline product. Now, there are alkaline products that are mineral-based, and that's what you need to do. A mineral-based, and those are 8 or 9.
Is that they don't realize that you need something besides plastic. This is why I use this. I don't like to drink plastic. But also, water has to be live. If you're drinking live water, it's better for you. A lot of people don't understand that, do they?
Okay, wait. Where do we buy? Okay, so what is the best alkaline water? And can you buy it at a store?
So yeah, I think online. I mean, we have the brand we have is called balance7.com. It's balance. The word balance number 7.com. Once again, so I got a fair warning, and that's the beauty of that product. It doesn't taste good. Okay, it does not taste good. There's a reason for it. It's not one of drinking that you're gonna do a gallon of it a day. It's just 1 ounce of it 3 times a day. It's extremely important. But what it does for you is that the taste is an indicator of where your body is. Howard, you said, I'm extremely healthy, and you will, you're healthy, and you will see the difference. No two persons gonna describe it the same way. because the worse your acidic body pH is, the worse it's gonna taste to you. But as you become healthier and that pH changes, that taste changes, and it won't taste any. I took it first time. I was like, oh my God, how the hell am I gonna even give this to my patient? But I didn't want to add. Now, we could have made it much sweeter and add things to taste better? Absolutely. But that's not the point. The point was that, hey, this is a health indicator, a health barometer for everybody, so they could perform better. And that's a constant reminder, hey, I'm not healthy. I screwed up. Now, a good example, we drink a couple of glasses of wine and then you drink that, it's gonna taste horrible because the pH is so acidic, then that reaction happened within your tongue, and so you could feel it. So it's a good barometer.
All right, Terry, from the fitness point of view.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, hi, yeah. I'm Terry Marie. I've started competing in fitness competitions back in 2014, and that's when I really changed my lifestyle up a lot. My trainer actually put me on a no alcohol, lots of greens, clean meat, low sugar fruits. And when I eat that way, I've never felt better. I haven't had cheese. I have not had cheese in over, 5 years now. I can't eat it. Like my body rejects it. I'm lactose intolerant. And I guess I didn't really even realize that I had issues with it with my gut and my intestines. So, and then I stopped eating gluten. And I think that the gluten today is not our grandmother's gluten. It's just, I don't know. So cutting out bread and dairy and the sugar, it made a huge difference on my energy level and how I felt. And then when I completely cut out alcohol, that's even brings me to another level. And right now I'm back on the no booze thing because I'm going to do another show probably in January, but it's really amazing. I kind of have a challenge for everybody. Do 30 days of eating clean with no alcohol and see how much better you feel. Just cutting out that one glass of wine that you have at the weekend. It's amazing. When your body is clean and it's functioning well, how you feel. I just think everybody that challenge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
think Howard, tell them why you looked as good as you did.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up is growing up as a child. When I was in elementary school and also high school, you might have had 2 or 3 overweight students in the class.
Mm-hmm.
When my son in the 80s, when I went to take him to high school, and I was watching the kids come out, I said, Brent, there are no beautiful girls in your school. He said, yes, they are. I said, no, they're not. They're all overweight. I said, when your mother was this age, you should have seen how good she looked. I said, but also I noticed if you buy milk, and milk hasn't really gone up in price in forever, but it's not the same milk that when I was young. They keep adding more and more stuff to it. You don't know what's in it. You don't know what's in any product, even though they label it. It's just like I said, if you look at kids now, most of them are overweight. The majority are. It should start early. You should teach them at the very beginning how to eat. Now, I did have a period in my life when I was 100 pounds heavier, but I went on Atkins, lost the weight just like that, and I kept it off. But I also, when I turned 65, I ran 53 and a half miles in one day. Well, walked it and ran it, a little bit of both. So I constantly stay moving all the time. I don't like sitting still. I don't like I am on my Facebook all the time, but I'm not looking down at it, and I just periodically check it. I don't stay all the time sitting looking at it. And it's just the way we're raised in this environment where it's all technology, it's making us lazier. All this information they're giving us is all trash. It's hard for people to know what's really good and what's really bad because you're getting all this information from everywhere.
If I told you guys the obesity rate in this country is about 30%, would you believe me?
I believe it's higher.
How about 40%?
I believe it's about 75% with a lot of men, and I believe mental health is 25%.
65% of population is overweight, 45% is obese, and that number is gonna go up and up. So it's insane where we stand.
It's going down. It seems to me like, I don't know, I look around and it seems like more people are getting more into, I don't know, maybe it's just where I'm looking, but it seems like people are doing a little better. Where it seems like we're, I don't know.
No.
2020, 2021 data. That's what it is. It's crazy. And part of it is, once again, you guys are right. It's just the diet. It's how people, don't take care of themselves, and they don't have availability of those good food, good nutrition in order to satisfy that. So that number is, it's really alarming in the nation. We're just really putting people in a bad position. But I'm going to address something that Terry, you said about exercise and eating well. So one of, I work with some of the athletes, NBA player, NFL players, in form of their diet and exercise. So here's the result I got by being on that alkaline and switching some of their diet to more alkaline. They exercise a lot more intense at a higher intensity, and they do not drop that high intensity for a long period of time because of this product also decreases lactic acid. It's a buffering capacity, so it get rid of the lactic acid that's produced during exercise even better. So they perform at a higher capacity from exercise standpoint alone. And so, but in 3 or 4 days, you will definitely see a change. I mean, you're gonna have mental clarity, focus, all of that. Not because this is a magical potion. It's just your body. It gets back to where it's supposed to be, and it performs at the way it's supposed to. So people ask me, what the hell does Balance 7 does for you? The answer is nothing. It just changes your body to where it's supposed to be, and your body does everything it's supposed to be from beginning anyways. So I think it's just bringing that changes. So we are way behind as a nation as far as educating and providing better care of our citizens.
Yeah, I just have a quick question for you. I have a quick question. Okay, it's just a quick question as far as performance. So every trainer that I've had has said no booze, not even one glass of wine, because it basically does interfere with your muscles, with your sleep, like even one glass of wine. And I don't think people realize it, because for me, now, when I cut alcohol, I mean, I just totally, it's just a totally different difference. It doesn't even matter if it's, the clean alcohols, like the vodkas and the tequilas. It still, I think, inhibits your performance. Do you think that's a myth, or do you think that's true? Because
so in general, I'm completely against stop all because it doesn't work. You're gonna crave it. So moderation and everything is extremely important. But when you're an elite athlete, so let's say you're gonna do you're a triathlon, or you're gonna do marathon, a fitness. So basically, the higher performance, everything does matter. Every ounce of everything does matter. For people like me, just go to the gym and enjoy that. It's not gonna make a difference. But people like you, who that little thing means 2 minutes faster, it makes a huge difference. So yes, because your liver has to expend so much energy to break down that alcohol. There's a specific enzyme that could be used somewhere else. Now it goes to the liver to break down the alcohol, so it's not toxic, right? It clears it out of your system. So some of these things becomes important, but in general population, a glass of wine is not gonna hurt anybody, or eating pizza once in a while, eating meat. So you just got to have a balanced diet, and your body just be fine. You just don't do too much of it. Now 3 glasses too much, right? That's bordering withdrawal and alcohol issues, and your liver is going to suffer eventually. One drink, fine, and once in a blue moon that you go out and have a couple drinks, why not going to kill you, or it's not going to change so much of your diet. So it's just not just the alcohol is it. I think if you stop soda, I don't believe any of you guys gonna drink soda. But if you stop that, if somebody's drinking that will drop you about 6 to 7 pounds immediately, just by just not drinking Coke.
The sugar.
Nothing else changed. Sugar. So there's a lot of sugar. If anything, drop your sugar.
Yeah, I've got a tip. Real quick question. We got about 90 seconds left. Go for it.
I've got a tip for parents. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't drink Coke. I don't do any of that stuff. But when I was 5 years old, my parents caught me smoking a cigarette. They said, smoke that cigarette. It made me sick. I never touched it again in my life. They never told me not to drink. When they drank, they said, you want a sip of it? I'm like, it burned my throat. I don't like this. And just like any kid, you form these opinions when you're young. And it's years before you'll try it again because you thought as a kid, I don't like this. I don't know why I don't drink Cokes. My parents never bought them. I would drink it if somebody offered it to me, but I would never buy it myself. So, and I haven't touched it. But the one thing I've noticed, the healthier you eat, you're more and more likely going to crave healthy stuff.
Yeah, you stop craving.
Makes a big difference. You don't need as much food when you eat organic than you do with all these preservatives, because you get full a lot quicker on organic food, even though it's more expensive, than you do on all this other stuff. That's it.
All right, Dr. Nooristani, we got to have you back. So I want to see if I can get you in January after the holidays to see how everybody's. So I always say this. Thank you, Howard. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Terry, and Tosh, because I knew she couldn't get on. And thank you, Dr. Nooristani. I love this.
Thank you guys for having me. This was great conversation, and I just share my information to everybody on the screen. I'd be more than happy to chat, email, text, whatever it is. No problem.
Yeah, I want to know which kind to get. I've got your page pulled up.
Okay.
And
just shoot me a text. Or
I always say this. You got to have a better night, good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. And if you see someone without a smile, please give them one, because the world needs it. Like Dr. Nooristani. Because we're in a different world out there. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.